I'm getting the question, you probably might be getting the question, hey, President Biden, new president, what's gonna happen in real estate? Any real estate changes? These are things we should know as realtors, right, as real estate professionals. So 3 major changes that I wanna point out to you that you can mention to your clients or people asking. One is that President Biden, essentially, his goal is to help take money from people who make a lot of money and redistribute it, if you will, to people who make less money. So that includes cutting some of the tax benefits that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that Trump introduced in 2000, I think it was 16 or 18, to kind of redo some of that. Now the Tax Cut and Jobs Act is good until I think it's December 2023 or January 2024, don't quote me on that, but basically another couple years. And so the idea is that between now and then, these changes are or could be happening if Biden gets his way, right? Which he probably will, because he's gonna be the president, or is the president. First one is 1031 exchange. He wants to take this away. As you know, 1031 exchange means that I can own a house, let's say this is worth 100K. I can sell this house, buy another house for 100K and not have to pay capital gains tax on that house. I defer the tax till later, right? And wise and savvy investors just continue to do this into perpetuity until they die. And then if they have a well-written estate plan, all that goes to their kids at basis, so no one pays tax, right? So this is a way to not have to pay tax on capital gains of the real estate you sell. Lots of investors that I work with, including myself, use this technique to save money. This would be going away. Completely going away, or at least to a major degree, right? So this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
So you're gonna have to pay those taxes.
Yeah, you'll have to pay those taxes instead of deferring them until later, right? So what this means for us is between now and 2023, there's probably gonna be a lot of investors that are going to try to take advantage of this one last time before and maybe buy something like, maybe they were doing leapfrogging before, but they may go, you know what, I'm going to buy my, multiplex unit now, and maybe this cost, I'm just using numbers, 300K, and I'll pay a little bit of taxes, but I'll defer the rest, and I'll just stay put until a new president comes in or a new Congress or whatever and changes this back, right? So there may be a lot of movement between now and 2023 for people doing 1031 exchanges if the anticipation is it's going to get cut off. That's one. 2, elimination of flow-through losses. This is a little bit taxy and stuff, but there are people, myself included, investors, that depreciate and flow through from the rental property. So it's called basically like phantom losses or paper losses. So let's say I have a rental property that I make $100 cash flow, $100 a month. So at the end of the year, I make $1,200 a year from my cash flow. However, because I can deduct, I can depreciate this property on a 27.5-year depreciation schedule. So without getting too complicated, I can say, hey, even though I made $1,200, I'm going to depreciate this, and let's say I depreciate it to where I can net 0 in paper income. So on paper, I pay 0 in taxes. I don't have to pay taxes on this $1,200 because I depreciate this property. And I flow through to, let's say this is my LLC. I flow this through my personal taxes so that I don't show income on my rental properties. Now, if I have one of these, who cares? It's $1,200. If I have 50 of these, it's a very big deal, right? I can depreciate all 50 of these properties and not pay taxes, and I will be saving myself thousands of dollars in taxes by depreciating the flow through from my rental property. According to Biden, his tax plan, this will no longer be the case. And again, I'll be paying taxes and not be able to flow through my losses from my rental properties. Okay, what does this mean for us as real estate professionals? That one, we need to educate our investors. If people are investing and they have rental properties and they're chatting with us about that, to let them know, hey, how many rentals do you have? Do you depreciate, right? Talk to your CPA, are you depreciating? Have that conversation and ask your CPA what you might want to do to change this. Now, what may happen is it may go, wow, I can't afford to own my 50, Maybe I'll sell off some of them. Maybe I'll sell off some and then buy just one big one, or who knows what their strategy is. Depends on who they are and what they're doing. But it may be movement in the market where we will help them strategically plan to sell houses based on the timing of when this is going to happen. That make sense? Third thing, capital gains tax. So as you know that there are, or you may not know, you may or may not know, there's capital gains tax rates right now, 0, 15, and 20% for capital gains. So let's say, for example, I have a house that's a rental. I own it for at least 1 year, and then I sell it. If I were to sell it within a year, I have to pay capital gains tax on the rate that I, as an individual, am paying taxes on. So let's say my individual tax rate is 27%. I would pay taxes on my gains at 27%. But if I hold this for at least a year, then I would pay capital gains at these rates, depending on my income and some other factors. The big deal is that even at its highest rate, 20% is less than 27. So a lot of people will hold on to something a year, sell it, and then only have to pay 20% capital gains tax instead of what their normal tax would be. Again, this would go away under Biden, and you would be paying up to 39.6% capital gains tax for things that you've held for what's called long-term capital gains instead of short-term capital gains. So
if you hold it more than a year, do you have to pay the capital gains rate and not your personal tax rate?
Well, you'd have to pay your personal tax rate, which could be as high as 39.6, right?
Okay, so it just raises the...
Yeah, it just raises it to whatever your personal, instead of having the shelter of the discount of what was established before, which is, hey, all long-term capital gains no more than X amount of dollars, right? So most of these are tax things, right? I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax person, but tax and real estate go hand in hand. And so just to know that 1031 exchange is a tax thing, but it's for real estate. The flow through is a tax thing, but it's for real estate. And capital gains rates is a tax thing, but again, it relates to real estate. So for the next couple years, people who have real estate may be adjusting, again, selling houses, not selling houses, buying houses, not buying houses, changing things around in their portfolio based on President Biden's new tax plan, what he wants to do in his new tax plan. So that's a summary of the three big things: 1031 exchange, the elimination of the flow-through losses for rental properties, and increase in capital gain rates for long-term capital gains taxes.